Good to go.
We may have taken a few mushrooms before we started this.
Oh, that ought to make this awesome.
Yeah, this might be the best show ever.
Could be.
Put me in that on that with you guys.
I mean, it is a Friday night in the Northeast too. So I mean,
Yeah, man. To each his
All right.
own.
So it looks like we are live everywhere. Let me throw this up here so everybody knows who we're talking to here. Make sure I spell everything right because I am. Yeah, there we go. I look at a computer, for my regular job. So a lot of times I get in here and I'm just like, is that spelled right? Or
you got eye strain.
yeah. That's like our safety tip every week. The 20-20-20. You look at something away for like 20 feet for 20 seconds and then go back every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with a sight on fire, so I'm like trying to put the fire out. Like I have no recollection of what 20 minutes is. So.
Yeah.
That shit works though.
It does. Yeah,
it does work. It's weird how it works, but it does work.
Yeah, it just gives you refocus. So, anyway, welcome everyone to a special edition of Metalheads Unite. We do have special guests here with us today. We have Phil, Sam, and Dean from Hero and the Horror. If you're not familiar with those guys, get familiar. So,
yeah.
So, very. Thank you guys for taking your time to come on. We really do appreciate that, and we always love to find new bands and chat them up and see kind of where they're at and what they're going on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and you guys are almost a definition of a brand new band. So I mean, in this incarnation anyway. I mean, we know. Yeah. So. And another representative of the metal scene of the northeastern part of our United States. Another guest joining the ranks of one of the last Eyes of the Living in Extinction AD. So
yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Sepsis.
Yep.
Yeah, Sepsis. Yep. Yeah, we know these guys.
We've talked to a lot of those bands. Actually, they were on the first year we did this show.
Yes, they were.
Second year we did a show, but. Yeah, the first year we started interviewing people. We kind of took a year to build up everything before we try to bring people in because we didn't want to bring people. The whole purpose we did this for was to
build
bring
an audience,
newer bands to an audience and say, hey, you're missing out. Listen to all the Metallica and Megadeth 24/7. Here you go.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, you know all that shit already here, man.
Right. Thank you guys. Yeah,
but I do want to say I did the review on Old Ghost, and I think one of the things that really stuck out to me was how diverse it was, and I felt like it almost seemed like I always try to find something that kind of hints to maybe another band, so I can try to say, hey, if you like this band, you'll like these guys. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people kind of gravitate toward that. So. But I kind of found it hard to do with you guys. It's like, I wound up with a 5-band list by the time I was like, man, they got a little bit of everything going on. So,
yeah.
So and of course, I think the first single was the first track on the song, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
On fire.
Yeah. So and like that one gave me like a Slipknot feel when I first heard it. I was like, that's kind of gives me a Slipknot feel.
So you're the second person to say that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that video got premiered on I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ola England.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Ola did a show where he rates music videos, and we ended up on his show, and he was he did a review of the video, and he was like, oh, it's kind of got a Slipknot feel. So it's just really funny because you were the second person I've heard say that.
Yeah. And it was funny because as I went down the list, I kind of got like a little bit of Stained, I guess, in some of the vocals, and then I kind of got some Breaking Benjamin feels toward the end. I was just like going through the list, I'm like, man, these guys have got a lot of diversity, and I like that, honestly. I mean, I think a lot more bands should show that sometimes, I guess. But I like the fact that it's done that way because if you look at some of the bands like we've talked about Avenged Sevenfold and like how they changed so much on this last album and they did it all at once in a whole album. which we kind of thought was probably a bad idea. But that's like, you know, you're but you know, when you're Avenged Sevenfold and got that kind of money, you can do what you want to do, I guess. But
yeah,
true.
but I do like the diversity you guys put off, and I know you guys were all involved in other projects before this, so I don't know how much. I guess that was my first question of how much of that was brought over to Hero and the Horror.
So I guess, I mean, most of us have come from like our previous endeavors with music and bands and things like that. I mean, I'm an old school, like, you know, regional Northeast veteran. Our bass player, he's a weathered veteran of the
right
of the you know, international scene when he used to be the longtime bass player of Unearth. And then, you know, Sam, Dean, and Mike, you know, they've been around, you know, the Northeast and regional area in their respective bands. So I think going into this project, it you know, when we first started getting together, Jesus Christ, is it 7 years already?
almost
7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So 7 years, we kind of didn't really have any expectations. We kind of just wanted to write music that we wanted to hear. We wanted to also do something different compared to a lot of the bands in this area that we're doing in this area and what they were doing. We wanted to kind of set ourselves apart.
Which was tough. Trying to book shows and stuff.
Which was tough trying to book shows at first. Where do you
know.
fit, you know? So we just kind of wanted to go in with no expectations, kind of just write whatever we were feeling, you know? And that's how that happened.
Yeah, I think y'all did a good job of setting yourself apart from everybody for sure. So
well, and I think I kind of the when you're talking about booking shows, I actually kind of surprising because to echo what Jason said, I would have figured that the diversity on the album would have probably given you a little bit more of a, not carte blanche per se, but because I mean, you guys more or less run the gamut kind of all the way across the board as far as metal goes. Because me personally, I even heard maybe a little bit of Tool and Alice in Chains at certain points during the album. So the Stained reference, definitely. But, I kind of figured that you guys would have kind of like fit into a little bit, wider array. So like, I am actually a little bit surprised to hear that booking gigs was a little bit tough. Cause I mean, really, as far as I was concerned, the only, subgenre of metal that you guys didn't really touch on it in some form or fashion was really like death metal, even though there are some aggressive vocals and, there's a mix of like gutturals in there, here and there. But I mean, predominantly that was really the only subgenre of metal that I didn't really hear a focus on. So to me, that's a little surprising. I figured you guys would have kind of like, you guys could have hooked on to a whole lot of different bills. So
I think what I meant by that was, it was more like, which direction do we go?
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Which genre should we go with? But we kind of meshed with everybody, and we all,
and which brought together a lot of good bands playing good music and good shows, which promoted us ultimately, in our endeavors, and the shows that we got were great shows with great people.
Yeah, and it just made us more
diverse.
Yeah, and we
in
get
the music and like in the scene too. Like
exactly
right.
Get people from every genre to kind of check it out, and it worked out, I think, in our benefit.
Yeah, I think
for sure.
People from a lot of different genres were, pulled toward the sound, just because, everybody gets a little bit of something and, they get to be happy with it. And that's kind of what we're pushing for. We want people to be happy with the music that we're putting out. And if they can receive it well, awesome.
All the better. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, there's even melody and groove in there. So I mean, it's not even So I mean, there's all sorts of different tempo changes, you know. So I mean, it's not just there's no straight line in the album, and that was one of the things I liked about it, because it started off fast, and then it ended up being a curvy road. It slowed down a little bit, it picked back up, you know. So I mean, there's
kind of a roller coaster,
there's all sorts, any kind of comparison you want to make, roller coaster, curvy road, whatever. So I mean, it's all in there. I mean, I hope we don't beat the word diversity to death, but I mean that's really the best way to describe it, as far as I'm concerned. I know Jason said it, so
and we're always growing. We always want to be more diverse. So you know, it's just our debut album.
Yeah,
and we're proud.
You can tell a difference between the EP and this too. So.
Oh yeah. Well, totally. So back in 2021, we had a lineup change. We parted ways with one of the original members of the band, and gained a new member of the band, Mike, who is not on this call, and he kind of brought like an extra element to the band that we kind of always wanted
and envisioned.
Envisioned. And he just kind of added that extra layer that we kind of always wanted, and it's been awesome having him, part of the fold.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why there's a kind of like a big difference between the first EP we released and the album.
Okay. And then I did see, I think I did see an article where you guys actually was on a show billed with Unearth at one point too. So that's kind of cool that there's still a little bit of ties there. So
yeah. So Slow, our bass player, he still keeps in contact with all those guys, and they text back and forth, and sometimes they there's been a couple times we've played with them. They've been coming, they're originally a Boston band, so they'll be on a tour and coming back from like Canada or something like that, and they're like, "Hey, we're coming through Western Mass, and we'll put together a show," and that just kind of happens. So
yeah.
I know it's like so funny when I seen that and I seen that that Slow was in Unearth, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And that's like, man, I seem like they've been in the news a lot here lately, and I actually looked up, and I had bought some Lamb of God Mastodon tickets for later in the year, and I think they're on that bill. So I was like, oh, well, that's why. I have seen those guys at a few festivals in the past too. So
bunch of great dudes.
Great dudes.
Sure. So how did the band, like, because it seems like I said, you guys were all in different things. So how did this project actually come together, as far as like two of you guys meet up and then just kind of added people?
So, I mean, originally, so I had taken a hiatus from music for a while, and I was kind of toying with the idea of like kind of starting to play again. And I was talking to a friend of mine who put me in contact with another guy that I knew from the music scene throughout the years, who was looking to start a new project. And he and I kind of started jamming together. And then I was talking to another mutual friend who was doing a project with Sam, our drummer, and that project really wasn't working out that well.
Yeah, we were, I was looking to. I took a big hiatus too, and then I was kind of dabbling back into it, and then got in contact with Phil,
and then the guitar player, our original guitar player, at the time was already talking to Slow, who was kind of toying with the idea of, because again, Slow took a hiatus from music after he left Unearth, was toying with the idea of playing music again, and then and we started kind of jamming. And we kind of sat in a room, once a week for almost a year, and kind of learned how to play with each other. And the first vocalist we were kind of working with really wasn't working out. It was hard for him to kind of like, with his schedule, kind of be there. And Sam is longtime friends with Dean.
Yeah, we're high school buddies.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And Dean's been in a bunch of bands in the area. And he's like, hey, my friend Dean is going to come down.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too is the previous vocalist, like it was all screaming. It was we were kind of more like hardcore esque, you know, post-hardcore or something. And then, you know, so I knew Dean was a great singer, and I was like, I mean, I don't know if he's gonna fit the band, but you know, you guys want to try him out, and it was like
Sam warned me too.
Yeah,
I mean, we can talk about things like no other.
But I'm like, just go, you know, do your thing, whatever. And
meanwhile, is exactly what the rest of us.
Yeah, they were all like, "Oh my dude, you've been holding out. Like, what the hell?" All right, cool.
So
let's do it.
It was like, you know, this guy how long?
Yeah. So yeah, we played together for pretty much almost a year, and then Dean joined like close to the end of the year, and then within like 3 months of Dean joining the band, we played our first show.
Yeah,
you know,
it was pretty quick.
I remember that I quit both.
Yeah, you quit.
I quit 2 bands like
the day before.
Sam.
And then I called him. I'm like, holy shit.
A cover band, an original band, and Sam called me, and I was like, if that's not a sign to
a lot of serendipity there.
If that's not a sign to keep going in music, then I don't know.
Yeah, man.
What a sign is that? You know,
me and Dean
I was like, I was kind of like done with music for a while.
We tried doing a project
through life's thing
years before that.
Sam called me right away. I was like, no, can't give up on it.
Yeah,
got it.
So, seeing that EP was in 2020. So was that post COVID or pre-COVID?
That was kind of like right at the start.
Yeah.
It was like right at the start of like when COVID started happening. It really wasn't.
A bunch of shows too.
It wasn't really locked down at the time.
Okay.
So we had started to record stuff early in 2020, and then we ended up finishing it in the summer of 2020, and you know, released some stuff later on that fall. And that's how that came. We just wanted to get something out there,
right?
Because we had already been playing shows for a year, and we wanted something to kind of market. But then obviously COVID happened, and we had a bunch of stuff lined up that year in 2020, and then it just kind of fell apart because of COVID.
Yeah, I think a lot of bands felt that too. So
yeah,
that's actually one of my biggest worries, because I had seen a couple of acts in 2018, 2019 that had just started. Trying to think of the one band, but Afterlife was one of the bands. They weren't even old enough to drink when I saw those guys. So,
wow.
and then like 20, you know, the COVID happened. I was like, oh man, this is going to hurt bands like that probably, because I mean they're not, you know, they're not
halted a lot of things. Definitely,
you know, bands like, you know, like I said, the bigger bands like Metallica, Iron Maiden, all those guys are going to make it. They're not.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're fine. But I was just like, man, I hate to see such a great band like, you know, some younger bands not be able to carry on because of this. But actually, I think it kind of sparked new stuff. You know, because you see a lot of bands like, oh yeah, we started collaborating, and you know, right at the end of COVID, I'm just like, wow,
it showed you who had the endurance to, you know, keep pushing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked to one band that said that, you know, they had to get regular jobs, you know, for a little while there just to make ends meet until they got everything back going. So,
I mean, we never stopped during that time. Like, it was like COVID hit, we still were getting together on a weekly basis, and you know, it was towards the end of that first year of COVID where things kind of fell apart with our original guitar player, and then we were kind of like toying with the idea of like what we wanted to do, whether or not we were going to continue on as a 4-piece. We toyed with the idea of Dean playing guitar, because Dean does play guitar, and he's like, I don't want to play guitar in this band. And he just likes to sing. And so then I kind of put out, you know, the word that we're, you know, looking to try out some some guys, and Mike came down and
right away.
He was the first one. He was
the
first one we tried out.
He was on it. Like,
and he had messaged me and was like, "Hey, I'm like really interested in trying out." And like, yeah, come down. And he came down and kind of like blew us away.
Yeah, he was very prepared.
He really did.
Came in.
And just to do our due diligence, we tried out, another person, and then we're just like, yeah, okay, what are we doing? It was kind of a no-brainer.
I mean, you could have all your reserves in the world about anything, going into having a new member, but it was like he blew the hinges off, and we were like, dude, it's freaking awesome. Let's do something.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If you know, you know.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it ended up working. And then from that point on, it was like during COVID, it was like we spent the entire time just writing music.
Yeah.
So
you can kind of compare that to go back to the time when Rob Trujillo got the job with Metallica. I mean, there was a lot better basses in that mix. They got auditioned, but he got the job because they just knew. So
right.
Yeah. It worked out good for everybody, of course.
Yeah,
it's always good to hear that.
So do you guys think that with so many of you guys actually at the time when the band formed being on a hiatus was actually a benefit?
I mean, I think it was an unexpected benefit.
Yeah, it definitely helped to write.
Yeah, I think because there wasn't anything else happening that we were just able to like lock ourselves in a room, and get together and just write music and
do it the hard way
and take our time. And take our time.
Do it the hard way.
Especially with a new member too, gave him time to learn the rest of the material and write all new material.
Yeah. So. Ultimately, we just needed to learn how to breathe together with the music, and as soon as it worked out, we were like, "Wow, this sounds really, really good." Like,
it felt like it gave all you guys like a chance to. Felt like it gave you guys a chance to reset and start fresh.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Chris.
I was just gonna say,
like still going with music. I was just doing cover acts and original acts with, my previous band's No Show, and Around the Fur was a Deftones cover band.
Okay.
And, I was just in the scene doing my thing, and then, I was kind of going through some stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm just like done with it. We're not really doing anything right now, so like I can take a break. And then Sammy calls me the next day.
No breaks for you, man.
Let's do this.
Go home and take a nap.
So where did the name Hero in the Horror come from?
Well, I had these like trading cards when I was a kid. They were Batman trading cards from the Michael Keaton.
Okay,
I remember those. Yeah,
actually have some of. Man, I know where they're at. I could go grab them. Actually, I have some.
Go look. One of them, I think it was card 52.
Yeah, something like that.
Was Hero in the Horror, and it was
okay.
It's got Batman on the front and stuff like that. And
well, my packages are unopened. Mine are unopened, so I have no idea.
Right.
So.
Don't open them.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
Definitely. Listen, I will tell you, it definitely beat out Google band name Fail.
Yeah. It's picking a band name is really it's tough.
It's definitely tough. Like, there's been so many bands that like have come up with band names, and then like all of a sudden you're just like, oh, they got a cease and desist letter in the mail.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So sometimes you just have to take a shot in the dark. But
yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. So.
Well, we have a lot of copyrights with this thing too, but there's other people that use it, but I'm not that big of a. I'm real competitive, so I'm just like, bring it on. You can do better than me. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the athlete in us.
Yeah. So with the new album, "Oh Ghost," is that referring to like anything in particular? Or is that just kind of what you guys have been through getting to where you're at? Or
I think it's more of like, yeah, pretty much the road to get where we're at. You know, all these old ghosts, all our like inner influences or anything that's going on in our lives,
anything that's held us
know,
back.
We take all that, and then we put ourselves in a room and just like let go of all that and make music, and whatever comes just comes, and we play and we just write on the go.
I mean, I think to me it was just, you know, during the COVID times, like all of us have dealt with things heavily or not as heavily, but all of us in the band have dealt with things throughout that time. It was a very like weird time and unique time.
Yeah.
And we all kind of went through our kind of things. And this was, we to me, naming it Old Ghost kind of meant that like we were kind of shedding that skin and coming out, you know, like
yeah, that makes sense.
these were our old ghosts, you know, and
kind of put us where we were.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because life puts
all
you where
those
you are.
things.
Where you
are.
are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You deal with in life puts you where you are. You know. And that comes from all the old ghosts that everybody has, you know.
Exactly.
Yep.
I see where you guys have got a pretty good reception with this album. I know, like I think it was Metal Contraband and a couple other NACC charts and stuff had you guys up there, you know, in pretty good positions. I think like 14 and 16. Or something.
Yeah.
So that's always great to see when you, especially like you said, it's a debut album, so you kind of don't know what to expect the reception to be, but you know, when you see stuff like that, it definitely has to give you guys a good feeling. So,
no doubt,
yeah,
we were very, very surprised at the reception of the record, and even the shows like coming out, the CD release show, the CD release shows, because we did a Mass show and we did a Connecticut show, and just the reception in general of things that we've put out,
and the kind words from everybody. Everybody that comes out to the shows and gives us their 2 cents on how they feel about us, and and it's been great feedback. So we're definitely thankful to all those people that have come out.
It's also cool to hear, what they think they hear out of it, and like, hear all this stuff, and it's like it's cool. Like, I like to hear what other people think too. It's nice.
Well, I mean, it's like everybody's going to hear something different too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's always cool.
Like perception, and that's what we really want to do. We want to create music where it's on your perception or anybody's perception, their personal perception.
I know we've listened to stuff, and then the first we do the album reviews. Every week we'll just pick an album blindly, and we'll go through and listen to it, and then we'll listen to it the first time, trying to just like pick it apart or whatever, and then we'll I think we go through 2 or 3, maybe 4 times sometimes, depending on how much time we have in the day. But I know like each time you always like hear something different, even though you've heard it before, you still find something in there. Yeah. I mean, I heard a song, I can't even remember what it was, but I'm looking at it because we have a radio station that we stream to. And I was listening to it at work, and I'm just like, wow, what is that? And I kept hearing like this little cowbell sound in the like background every once in a while. And I'm just like, wow, that's kind of crazy. And I look it up, and I'm just like, I can't even remember who it was now, but I'm just like, wow, I did not know that had a cowbell in it.
Yeah.
but it's just like, it's crazy how you hear stuff. You don't catch it at first, but then you'll hear it like later on.
But I probably listened to the album maybe about half a dozen times this week in preparation for the show. And, by the time yesterday and today rolled around, certain songs were starting to stick out for me more and more, like Prize Fighter and Head in the Sand were the ones that were starting to really kind of come to the forefront for me as far as, personally. Like Prize Fighter's probably, like, if you're making me choose, Prize Fighter would probably be, the song that has become my favorite. So, but like I said, you've got all sorts of different avenues to choose from with the tempo changes and the melodies and all that stuff. So, you guys have talked about just getting together and putting yourself in a room to write and everything. Where exactly is this room? How do you guys go about the writing and recording process?
So we rehearse once a week. It's the religiously. Yeah. It's literally the same day.
Okay, so it's every Sunday.
every week, same day every week, same time. The only day we don't rehearse is if like a pivotal person can't be there, which is like the drummer.
Yeah.
Usually not up.
But even then, like
he says that like it's happened before.
Yeah, it's very rare.
We try to be as dedicated as possible.
And there's times where like even if a member can't make it, it's like, okay, so we'll go to Mike's house and start like demoing some tunes, and do pre-production on some new stuff. So we just kind of we get in a room and sometimes it's like there's been a lot of songs that have written themselves within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I can probably
feel great.
I can probably tell you
not all
of them, but I would say 85% of the record has written itself within 5 to 10 minutes of us getting in the room and jamming on a riff. And it's like, hey, someone's got a riff, or like Mike's got a riff, or I got a riff, or even Sam's got an idea, or Dean's got an idea, and it just kind of snowballs.
Usually they have ideas.
Yeah, a lot of the times Dean's usually the last one to get there. So normally he walks in, he goes, and he hears us all jamming on something, and then he just grabs his microphone. He goes, "Keep going, keep going."
Yeah, ooh, that sounds good.
And that's pretty much it. Just you kind of know it's. We like to capture magic in a bottle.
Yeah. Try it.
I can't remember who that was we talked to that were joking about that, and they was talking about the vocalist. They said, yeah, he's always late, and he's got the less baggage to tote to the building. So,
who did?
I guess isn't that all singers? It's called the Singers Union. It's the Singers Union.
Yeah, that's what it is. Singers Union. Oh, that's great. That's fun. Dana was just telling us he was dipping out, so we appreciate that, and you'll be able to catch it on Spotify later if you missed it here. So
yeah, one of our regulars in the chat room. So
gotcha.
Who also our buddy Dano's who we're referring to. He says he's got some Northeast roots himself. So I can't remember did he ever tell us where he was from, Jason? I can't remember if he ever told us where he was from.
I can't remember either. So.
But yeah, I know he's from up that way somewhere. I just don't remember where off the top of my head. We'll have to get him to tell us.
We talked to so much stuff with him. It kind of gets lost in the.
Yeah, it does. But he's one of the good friends of the show. So he's almost always around on Friday nights. But so that's always good to hear from him. So.
He runs a metal page on Facebook too. So
yeah, he's kind of
it's awesome.
Yeah, he's kind of a more or less a collaborator. He's got a page, we've got a page in a group, and so we kind of collaborate together. We've gotten together at some shows. We've gotten together. We've done a live remote at a concert that he put on himself. So we actually did that last year at his 50th birthday. He put together a show for his birthday, and we did a live remote from there. So I mean, he's been a good friend to the show for the past couple of years. So it's always good to hear from him. So
nice.
Yeah. So, no, go ahead, Jason.
Oh, you go ahead. I'm going to look up something real quick. So.
Okay. All right. So how did this new album get distributed after it was recorded?
So we had linked up with so we had started the recording process because we wanted to put some new music out. Our objective was to just record 3 new songs and then put those out and see what happens. In that process, we linked up with Salt of the Earth Records out of Connecticut. They showed a lot of interest, and we began some talks, and then kind of hashed some things out, and then we were just like, okay, I guess we're gonna record a full length. And
So it wasn't even initially supposed to be a full length.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
It was only gonna be 3 songs, and then we ended up signing on with them, and a full length was easier to market, and so we went back to the studio, and we had plenty of material. We just went back to the studio, and we're just like, all right, cool, like. And started, recording the rest of the material that we had that was finished, and that's how that happened.
So what was the original 3 tracks supposed to be?
Oh God,
good question. I think "Strength of a God" we threw in there.
That was later. I think no, Empty Handed was already done.
Yeah, Empty Handed.
I think it was Prize Fighter.
Yep. And then On Fire. I think.
On Fire.
Yeah.
And then there was another one. No. I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. Yeah.
So you guys had to go from 3 and you got it up to 11. I mean, was there anything? So it was 11 where you guys stopped, or is there some other shit just floating around out there?
We were going to do 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So what had happened was that initially we had recorded 2 songs, Another World, which is the last song on the record, and Empty Handed, which is kind of in the middle of the record.
Yeah.
We released Another World as one of the recorded tunes that we had put out just to put a song out. And that was during I think that was during the end of COVID, it's 2022. And we really weren't sure what to do with Empty Handed yet.
Well, I think we were gonna release it, and then we got
we're
like, okay, let's wait. We'll put it on the EP or the album.
The album. Yeah. So we weren't sure whether or not we were going to put in Another World on the record, but the label liked the song so much that they wanted it on the record. So it was already recorded before we had gone back to the studio to record those 3 tunes, and then initially the record. So we just had it remixed for the record.
So you guys just polished it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I was wanting to get some insight here. Share this real quick.
Yes.
We always love logos, so we always like to ask where did the logos come in, and who did those for you guys?
So that was an adaptation of one of our other logos. So Mike D from Dark Icon Design also plays bass in Killswitch Engage.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's a graphic design artist and has a graphic design company, and he kind of did that adaptation of our logo, and we just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah, it's badass. I love the H and H.
Yeah.
How it kind of, and then this one different than that one, so I like that too. How it kind of almost like it shreds off of it or something.
Yeah.
Well, it's symmetrical and it flows in every direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you got the hero and the horror down the middle.
Yeah. Mike D has done a lot of our artwork for our merch and the album.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. A lot of people. I mean, of course, he's got a design company, so a lot of people can say that. But
right,
I'm just saying it's pretty cool to be able to name drop like that. So.
Yeah,
yeah,
that definitely helps.
Awesome too.
Definitely doesn't hurt.
Great person to work with.
Yeah, all those guys seem like they're really cool. Like, Kill Switch I've probably seen a dozen times, so it's always especially with Adam. Adam's a pretty crazy dude. He's pretty wild.
Yep.
Like one of my best memories of them was they had like a VIP section in like the festival we were at, and of course it was up, on a hill or something, and Jesse was like, "Hey, say hi to the VIP people," and Adam's like, "Where?" And he's like, "Oh, they're way up there." He's like, "The fuck are you guys doing way up there? Get down here, you fucking pussies!" And like, oh, that's great. Yeah, one of the best acoustic venues. Yeah, one of the best acoustic venues around here. They played in. It was them in Parkway Drive, and after the burial, and like,
nice.
I don't know why nobody comes to that venue, man. Because the acoustics in that place are amazing. And just here in Nashville, we're in Nashville, so a lot of
right on, yeah.
So it's just one of those venues where just not a lot of people go to for some reason. I don't know if it's expensive to rent or people just forget about it or what, but it's definitely
that was the War Memorial. Yeah, okay, War Memorial.
We like places like that.
Yeah, it's great, and it's like an operatic setup.
We'll play
there. I'll go too.
Me too.
Because they have like a it's almost like an operatic type setup because they have like the upstairs, and they have it's not like a lot of seats up there, so most of it's just standing room down here.
Yeah,
but they do have the seats up there too, so it almost reminds me of the Muppet Show the way it's kind of it's like a crazy thing to say, but that's what. It's exactly what it reminded me of when I said.
Where was I? That College Theater in New Haven.
Oh yeah, College Street Theater.
Yeah, College Street Theater.
Yeah,
that's like that too. It has the seating upstairs, and then the whole floor is general admission.
Yeah,
I saw Seven Dust and Static X there with Dope.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing that show on Wednesday. So
nice.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah, we had tickets to it a while back. Actually, I got the poster right here. So.
Oh yeah,
nice.
It got canceled once.
Yeah. That was a show that I had the poster ordered already.
I was supposed to go to.
Yeah.
It was like on the 14th, and then they changed it to
the. Yeah, they had to go. There was one of this show and the security at the place they were going to go to. The city shut it down because they didn't have a proper security at the venue. So.
Oh damn.
So like. We had friends in the show and was like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, there's a line out here. Like, they're not letting nobody in." They're like, "Well, we're in here, man. They got drums set up and all kind of shit. We're drinking." I'm like, "Well, fuck." And then by the time we got up there, 1 hour, we're not letting anybody else in. I'm like, "Oh, okay, why?" And they said, "Well, there's just a problem with security or something." I was like, "Oh, okay." So they went. I had the poster ordered already, so I was like, "Well, shit." Next night, I had tickets to the show and I liked the poster. And a lot of times the places don't sell the I wish they would sell T-shirts with that on it. That's even the newer one, the second leg or the third leg or whatever they're on now is the poster's a little bit different, but it's still cool as shit. And they do T-shirts and just split the profit or something, but pretty cool designs.
Yeah, wasn't that initial show? Wasn't that at Hop Springs?
Yeah, Murphy.
Yeah. I still haven't been there. I need to check out a show there. I haven't had a chance to go yet.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the greatest venue, but
that's what. You said that, but I still want to check it out at least once because there's so many. That's one great thing about the Nashville area. There's really a ridiculous amount of venues around.
There is, yeah.
I'm sure you guys have got it. I'm sure you guys have got a lot up there.
Not much.
Not much. Well, I was going to say probably a lot more in the city, but
there used to be a lot more.
There used to be a ton, and then lately they've been dwindling. It's in our area, at least in our immediate area. But like, I mean, we still have our staples. We still have the Worcester Palladium, where they have the New England Hardcore and Metal Fest that they've hosted for years. Ralph's Rock and Roll Diner, which has been kind of a smaller place that they've had for many years. And then Boston seems to be opening up, newer places. Providence Providence, Rhode Island has a few places that are still kicking around. So it's
we got a few
in Connecticut. Connecticut's still has, a lot of their venues there, and but like in Massachusetts where we are, like a lot of the venues around here are just like fucking dropping like flies.
Yeah. There's a couple of places up that way that keep popping up on our hit in the road segment. We try to, one of our segments during the week is we announce all the tours that have been announced the previous week. And there's a couple of places up that way that seem to always kind of pop up. You've got the Middle East.
Oh yeah, it's in Boston.
Yeah, Middle East and Sonia.
That's in Boston as well.
Yeah, so I have heard of those two places because they come up a lot. And then let's see, I'm just looking at last week's Hartford, Connecticut, Webster Underground.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Webster we played there. So they have the Webster and Hartford's got like the Webster and then the Webster Underground. The Webster Underground has like the smaller shows, and then the regular main stage has like the bigger shows there.
Okay.
That's pretty cool venue.
And then let's see, we got New Haven, Connecticut at Toad's Place. There was a show over there. Someplace in Boston called Roadrunner.
That's a new place.
Okay.
I haven't been there. That's a brand new venue that opened up last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I say, I mean, the Middle East and Sonia seem to pop up a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of places.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of places up that way, which is good, of course.
Yeah.
To be able to have those places. So, and I don't, and Maryland, you got the Baltimore Soundstage in Baltimore.
Yep.
Let's see, what else do we got? The Auto Bar in Baltimore.
Auto Bar. Yeah. There's another place we were going to play.
Yeah, it's a place in Virginia.
No, it's Maryland.
Oh, was it Maryland?
I don't remember.
We're trying to get down there this summer.
Yeah.
Something.
Ish.
Yeah. Go down.
But it sucks when you hear that venues have closed. There's been a couple of smaller places here that have closed over the years. I was actually talking to one of my coworkers about it actually today, believe it or not, because he's actually a lead singer in a metalcore band. So he just right around here. I've been to one of his shows, and he's actually pretty talented kid, and he's in his late 20s, pushing 30. So to me, he's a kid. So he's a pretty talented kid. So all self-taught and everything. Because I asked him one day, he's like, "Where did you learn?" Because he growls and he hits high notes and all this shit. I was like, "How the hell?" Where did you learn all that shit? I just out of curiosity one day. He was like, "Oh, I just taught myself." It's like, Jesus Christ, really? You taught yourself all that shit? But so he's actually a pretty talented kid. He's actually working on a new project now. So I was talking to him today. Because I saw something on Facebook, and we were talking about the big amphitheater that used to be here, like what Ozfest came through, and like all the big tours came through. I saw 3 Ozfest there, and the fucked up thing is it closed. And when was it, Jason? 2006. What
was that?
When Starwood closed, 2006 or 15, something like that.
No, it was
2006.
I think it was 06. Yeah,
it's pushing 20 years, and the messed up thing is they closed it down.
But still just sitting there.
You can still drive by the site, and they haven't done jack shit with it since they closed it. They closed it down to redevelop it, and it's still sitting there. You can actually still see the parking lots, and if you're driving by just right, you catch the right line of sight, you can actually still see part of the old amphitheater band shell and everything. Yeah. So it sucks, when a venue closes, but if a venue closes and they do something with it, at least you can kind of half-ass feel better about it. But it sucks when you drive by and he's like, I saw so many shows there, and it's just overgrown and everything. So it sucks because, and then like especially kind of with with our genre of music, it can kind of be difficult to find places to play. So when one of those places goes away, even if it's a place that holds like 150, 200 people,
Yeah.
I mean that's still a place where people can go and get together. And so when those places disappear, it's just a hit for everybody.
Yeah.
And it sucks to hear that.
That's kind of like where we were at. We had our CD release party a few weeks ago. And that kind of like where we live, that's kind of been the case when these venues have closed down. So we rented out an American Legion.
Okay. All right.
Going old school.
Yeah.
Rented out Legion Hall. We got a sound guy, got a lighting guy, and then brought the bands in, and the place was like absolutely wall to wall the entire night from start to finish. We let the bar know that like, hey, we're expecting this many people, and they still ran out of booze.
Damn.
All good signs though. All good signs.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Here, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned American Legion going old school. We actually have an American Legion hall here in the north side of town. It closed.
Oh wow!
So it's like how the hell does an American Legion close? Well, our town here managed to pull. Isn't
it like a CBD place now or something?
Yeah, no, it's empty. It's empty.
Oh, is it still empty? Okay.
Yeah, it's still it's empty with a for lease sign in front of it. So
that's crazy.
It's right. It's right there, across from the Kroger over there on the north side of town.
Yeah.
So
I just seen a sign. I just seen a sign that was pointing down toward it. It said CBD store, and I'm just like, no, they didn't.
No, it wouldn't surprise me, but no, it's still sitting there.
The one we have here has got a World War II like tank on the front lawn.
Yeah.
And they had something like that. Tank or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they had some sort of old piece of armament out there. I can't remember what it was, but I don't know if it's still there or not.
My last memory of that place was shaking down a promoter from some money one time. Someone.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I was a pro wrestler for 18 years, so I was. We were doing a show there, and the guy was just like he kind of bounced, and I was like, "Where's this guy at, man? Like we gotta get paid." He finally like swung around, was trying to like, "Hey man, the crowd was down." I said, "That ain't my damn problem." I said, "You're the promoter. You're supposed to promote this shit, man. Like I'm out here putting my body on the line. I don't care if it's 12 or 100 people. I mean, I did my job. I want won't pay."
Right.
So I told him, I said, "I don't even know if you pay anybody else. You're going to pay me and the guy that I brought, because it's me and him was working the match." And I said, "You're going to pay me and this guy, or we're going to have some problems." So it was funny too, because the guy that rented him the ring was there too, and he was a big time promoter in Nashville. And we were all three sitting around waiting on money. The guy had to go down to Advanced Financial and pawn his truck off, and come back with the money to pay everybody. Wow. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But that may be why the American Legion isn't there anymore.
So we touched base on the logo. So how who was responsible for getting the actual album cover together for you guys?
Mike D as well. He's the one that's done a majority of our artwork. He designed the logo, the CD cover, the inside of everything. We kind of
gave him some ideas.
Yeah, we decided to hit him up because we liked his work, and he does some work for some really great bands and everything like that. And
and he does all the work for Killswitch too.
But we also wanted something a little different too.
Yeah, I think we
than is normal, and that's kind of like what he was like. He sent this. He had this kind of like already like kind of built out, and we're like,
and our idealism fit.
He
came up with that, and we were like, perfect.
And the inside of it is that actually, so that entire cover is very ominous if you actually really look into it. and then on the inside is the ominous on the inside.
Well, you can see some figures back in.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
On this side too, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe even one. Maybe they have one in the water or something here. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a great. Almost looks like you would sit and watch Bob Ross paint this thing. So
yeah. I was gonna say it kind of reminds me. I mean, without the building, it kind of reminds me of the album cover from Black Sabbath's first album a little bit.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just the way just with the coloration.
Yeah,
obviously, like I said, minus the building, but kind of coloration kind of gives that off. But what I like about it is kind of like the irony with the sunrise.
Yep,
that's what I like about it. But yeah, it does have, like you said, an ominous kind of quality to it.
Yes, and that's kind of the aesthetic we were kind of going for.
Yeah, it definitely works out.
Bob, just paint a happy little spirit over here.
Yeah. Well, and it's at the same time, it also goes to show you that ominous doesn't always have to equal dark,
right?
Because it's not a dark album cover.
Yes, correct.
So it doesn't. It doesn't have to be the cliche. Ominous is dark. No, it's not always the case. So So I like that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I was going to try to see if it had a picture of what he was saying, if it had different pictures, but
yeah. So do you guys actually have physical copies at this point? Because we've the last couple of guests we've had, they've been kind of they started out just strictly digital and we're working on physical copies. So you guys have physical?
Yeah, we have actual physical copies of the record.
Okay, yeah. All right.
saltoftheearth.com, I believe.
saltoftheearthrecords.com. You can order them, and soon we'll have them up on our merch site as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I've been to the website. Are you going to be selling it there, or are you guys going to tie in with Bandcamp or something? Or
so our website, when you're talking about our website?
Yeah, you guys. Yeah,
so our website, when you go to the merch stuff, it redirects you to where we have our merch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a section on there.
Yeah, there's a section on there for merch, and then it redirects you to our merch company that handles all of our merch. They'll have the records up there as well. So.
Okay, so it's gonna be is it gonna be CDs and vinyl?
Eventually
vinyl.
Yeah. Right now CDs. Vinyl is there's I don't know if you guys are familiar with the vinyl plants in the US.
Oh yeah, there's only 3.
A 6 to 8 month wait for vinyl.
Yeah.
Eventually we're gonna do a vinyl release, but
we've had some folks tell us about the not necessarily horrors, but I mean just the backlog that these places have, because they're, like Jason said, they're so few and far between at this point.
There's 4 in the country.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want some job security, for Christ's sake, anybody who's watching, you want some job security, go work at one of the 4 vinyl album plants. I mean, you probably get all the overtime you want, for fuck's sake.
Right.
So as you were talking about, you guys had the CD release show and everything. So what are we talking as far as being able to do any touring on this now that it's out?
So we had a few we had a bunch of stuff lined up that kind of fell through, and we had a bunch of stuff lined up from when the CD came out through March, and we were working with an agent at the time, and some stuff kind of fell through, and then we were just kind of working on. All of us kind of have day jobs still.
Yeah.
So we're all working through that as well.
Managing our time and
managing our time. So we're tour is in the works. It's just we're trying to map it out where it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, having an everyday life, I'm sure, kind of doesn't help. And then by the sound of the background, I mean, I'm sure we have wife and kids and dogs and everything else going on. So I mean, it's just one of those things. There's only so many hours in the day. I mean, it's it's an old saying, but it's accurate. So so if you guys had some stuff lined up, the stuff that you're looking forward or you're looking at doing going forward, I mean, are the bands that you were gonna initially be working with, or is that something that's still gonna be, or are you guys basically having to just say, are you guys just having to start all over?
We're essentially like kind of just regrouping and like putting together some things with a local band out of the Connecticut area. They're on our label as well. They're called Casting Shadows. We're going to be doing like some like weekend warrior stuff with them in April. We have a bunch of shows lined up through April with them throughout the Northeast. Eventually we'd like to get down the East Coast and hit areas down there. It's just
we'd love to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's just trying to line up all this stuff, all these things with clubs and on days that work and things like that. So,
well, and you alluded to having jobs. I mean, you have to. I mean, you got everyone who's got to be able to line up. I can take this many weeks off and this, that, and the other thing. So, I can only imagine like how hard that's got to be to do with 4 or 5 guys, how much harder it's got to be than just planning like going to Florida for a week. Going down to Disneyland. Well, we'll take a week and go to Disneyland. No, screw this. We're trying to go, 20 dates in 7 states and whatever else we got to do going on. I've never had to worry about planning a tour of any size. I can't even imagine what that's like.
I mean, if you think about a normal tour schedule, most shows happen between Wednesday and Sunday, or even Thursday and Sunday.
Right.
Okay. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are kind of like your slowest days in certain markets, because most of your attendees have jobs.
Right.
So, being on a label like Salt of the Earth Records, who has bands throughout the entire United States on their label, we have the opportunity to kind of like, hey, let's fly out on a Wednesday to Texas, hit a bunch of dates through Texas, Thursday through Sunday, and fly home.
Yeah, perfect. I think in a perfect world, it would be like long weekends, and just kind of plan it that way. But
yeah, so I mean, how far out have you guys been able to get? Texas have you guys been to Texas, or was that hypothetical?
No, we haven't been to Texas yet.
Okay, so that was a hypothetical. Okay.
Yeah, it was hypothetical. So we had something lined up. We were gonna do down to like Virginia and then come back up, and then one of the dates in the middle fell through, and it didn't make sense for us to go down to Virginia if that date didn't work out. So,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then we had an alternative date kind of west of that, and it just was like, it still didn't make sense. So, we're still trying to like kind of like we don't work with a booking agent right now, and so we're still kind of like we have label support as far as like networking and distribution, marketing. But as far as everything else, we're essentially DIY.
Yeah, I was
still kind of independent.
I was actually gonna. I was actually gonna ask that next. How involved the label has been. So you kind of already answered that. But well, I mean, if you guys are ever looking to get back down to Virginia, one of the friends of the show over here. They're actually they've been on the show a couple times. They're a thrash band based down in Virginia, so just kind of food for thought moving forward if you guys get down that way. But
I mean, honestly, we'll play. We'll play. we like to work, man.
That's our thing. Hopefully one day we make enough money and then we can go back and like ground up all the people we interviewed and just have some festival. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
God, that would be amazing because
rent out the Ascend Theater right there on the river and just
I hope you have a lot of like antacids, so
that would be great because
that'll give you the odds to try to organize something like that.
Yeah. Because if that ever, I've never even thought of that until you just said something about it. Because I mean, the logistics of that would be insane. Because I mean, we've got bands that we've interviewed from Australia, Bulgaria, Belgium, Scotland, Finland, Sweden, Norway. I mean, so we got bands we fucking interviewed from all over. So that would be.
You were talking about kind of being. Yeah, you were talking about kind of being diverse in your area with music. Just imagine being a thrash band in Norway.
Yeah.
There you go. They were actually talking about that. They was like, it's kind of hard getting booked out here, man, because everything's black metal and we're a thrash band. So
yeah.
So is there like any? I know you guys have been in other bands too, but I didn't know if we always love to hear road stories. I don't know if you guys have anything that kind of crazy happened, or even funny, or whatever you can share. Somebody's already laughing.
He's already laughing.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some. I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I know from a previous band, there's been some.
Yeah, that's fine too. We just like hearing stories.
Well, the first band I was in, I was a sophomore in high school. They were like 30, and the first show was at the Webster, and so I'm like, all right, sure, yeah, I'll play it. So I was pretty young, so I got to play. We went to CBGB's, we did Toad's Place in New Haven, like a lot of Northeast stuff. We traveled a lot, but were
you playing bars as a sophomore?
Oh yeah, totally. And, I'd go to school on Monday, and like none of the kids were like. I would tell Dean, you think it's cool and shit, but like no one. School, like so what the hell I was doing. It was very eye opening to see a lot of that stuff at like 16. Just being in like the bar scene too. It's
right.
Like, older women like trying to creep on you.
One of my old bands played a show in Southern Connecticut, and we were doing a run of shows with another band, and we played this place in Southern Connecticut, and I think it was to like 10 people. And one of the 10 people, so it's probably 9 people, because one of the people that was there was passed out at a table, drunk. So our guitar player at the time, he got down off the stage and was like foot up, like on him like this, like while he's passed out, like just fucking. Oh my God. And then like there was a couple of girls that were there, and we were loading out after we were done playing, and he like pulled his balls out of his pants, and he's like, hey, that show was nuts, huh? It was just ridiculous shit like that,
That's a metal story.
That absolutely is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Just stuff like that, and just like driving home from long shows, or like we did a
New York City show.
Oh yeah,
New Jersey, one of those.
Yeah, but I mean, for us, like we were driving home and just like everyone's passed out in the van, and we're just like taking turns driving, and then like one of my old bands, it was like, we're in Connecticut, I'm not stopping.
Yeah,
I don't care if you have to take a piss. So he's trying to piss in a Snapple bottle.
Oh my God!
So of course, what do?
Dissing everyone.
You have to. That's
of course.
That's a fucking rite of passage right there.
Right down the leather seats. You know, I mean, it's just shit like
Keep
that.
it straight, man. Goddamn.
That's a right.
I did a weekend run of shows with a band that we had this like really like hood-rich kind of van that had a hole in the filler tube of between the filler tube of the gas tank. So it was kind of like,
oh no.
Yeah, and we had a red light over this one seat. We used to call it the slut seat. So so anytime we had to like we'd be driving like from like one show to the next, we'd be like, status check. And he's like, oil's good, temperature's good. We probably got to stop for fuel soon, but it's not raining yet because the filler tube had a hole in it. So we'd wait till it would rain to fill it with gas because it would leave like, if we put $50 in it, 25 of it would be on the ground.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Jesus.
Yeah, just shit like that. You know, just yeah.
And that, kids, is called paying your dues.
Yes. Exactly.
That's what that is.
Exactly. So yeah, we've all kind of paid our dues in some way or another. I'm sure Slow, who isn't here right now, has a ton of tour stories.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
we've heard of plenty of tour stories, but you know, he's probably the king of tour stories.
Edward 40 Hands.
Oh yeah,
Best tour.
Edward 40 Hands. Oh yeah, yeah. You guys familiar with that?
I was about to say, I think I've heard Edward 40 Hands, but I don't think I know.
You duct tape 2 40-ounce bottles of malt liquor to your hands. You got to drink them before you can take a piss.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I was about to say that sounds familiar for some reason.
Yes. Yep.
80 ounces before you can pee.
Oof. I don't even think the human bladder doesn't hold that much.
Yeah. So
I ain't gonna make it. Like, I'm not gonna make it, kid.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hell no.
You can't unzip your shit. I mean,
Exactly.
Unless you're wearing jogging pants, maybe able to get that down.
Yeah, that's actually a double whammy right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was always the question: wasn't it, how did Edward Scissorhands pee? You know, without circumcising himself.
That's true.
I thought of that.
I was going to ask. I didn't get to it yet, but I was going to ask Dean if he had had to make any transitions from like his former band vocally into this one.
I don't think so. I think in my previous bands, I kind of held back a little bit, but with this band, I kind of was like more of like a no holds barred. Like, I just want to be as, you know, like, I don't want to kill the word either, but I want to be as diverse as possible, you know, for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just like, you know, figuring things out. If I don't know how to do it, I want to do it. I just want to try and persevere through it. Like, and like you were talking about earlier, like, I'm a self-taught singer. Like, I've always like, just, it's mostly in your ear. Like, if you can get it in the ear and you can put it out of your vocal cords, I mean, then you can get it. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that everybody can learn how to sing in some way, you know, as long as it's comfortable for yourself.
Right. I was going to ask, do you have any like techniques you use or anything like that to try to prep for like the different styles that you're doing, or?
Not really. I don't really do any prep or anything like that. I kind of just do it, I guess. I don't know.
Listen to Udo over here, you know.
I try not to try too hard, you know.
You don't want to blow nothing out. Yeah.
If you think about it too hard, then you're not doing it right. You know what I mean? Like, or if you're hurting yourself, you're not doing it right. You know?
Yeah.
And you have and when you're teaching yourself, you have to be aware of those like boundaries and guidelines that you set yourself. You know?
That's one thing I hate about a lot of like fans. They're just like, oh well, just say Avenged Sevenfold. They don't do the stuff like they used to. I'm like, yeah, man, because you can't do that kind of vocals for 30 years in a career, man. It's like damn near impossible. But
especially live, you know.
Right, exactly.
And I guess it's just really, really hard to portray sometimes what you put across on an album. And something we strive for, I think, is to have like a better live show than even the album puts out, because like that's when you're in that zone with us, you know what I mean, and it just feels a little bit more powerful when it's live.
Yeah, I definitely get that. So, I was gonna say too, you guys have you guys able to tour yet, or y'all just did the show? It's the one show for the.
No, like Phil said, we kind of do DIY.
Yes. It's tough.
And we set up our own shows, and we have, certain promoters that, we handpick to, work with for the shows that we can get around here.
So let me ask you this: that y'all are kind of DIY guys, so you kind of know up front. Like if you talk to a venue about going there, do they tell you up front if they're going to take a percent of your merch or anything like that, or is that just something that happens?
Not the ones around here, no.
Yeah, not yet. I mean,
right.
I think that's kind of like one of the things that's going to wind up going kind of. I won't say wayside, but it's going to wind up going like, all right, we're just going to do 10% or something like, because a lot of these bands are getting fed up with that shit. And I know we just did a story.
Like, no way, man.
Yeah, we just did a story. Was that Italy or something? They
like
47% of their shit. Yeah. They're like, no, we're not selling shit then. It's like,
yeah. They decided to sell. They sold everything out of their trailer.
Yeah, after the show.
Yeah, because they were like, fuck that. Yeah, it was a 20%. It was a 20% merch cut from the venue, and then I think it was called a value added tax of like 27%. Yeah, it was in Milan, Italy, is where they were.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And it's just a money making thing.
It's all it is a cash grab.
That's what everybody is gonna look at it as anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can try and hide it all you want.
Right. Well, I feel like you guys, you're the show. You're bringing people in there that's going to drink massive amounts of fucking alcohol. One. So, and that's the good thing. Like I actually said that once, and then I seen where I can't remember who it was, but one of the bands that were bitching about it was saying the same thing I did. So, well, you're not giving us any cuts from your alcohol. So why the hell should you get any of my merch cuts? And I'm kind of like I'm on that same page. Like you didn't do anything. You're not doing anything to help me. We booked this show previously, and you didn't say anything about this, and now you want to tack on some shit, and that's just kind of trashy to me. But
yeah,
well,
in the long run, I think the venues will wind up being the ones that suffer from that kind of thing, because if it were to get around. And then bands just be like, "Well, fuck, we're not going there." So,
well, and I hope they do, especially the ones in the situation like you just talked about, Jason, when you're talking about where they spring it on somebody. That's bullshit right there. That's borderline, because that's a borderline bait and switch tactic, really.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking to somebody that said that. So they showed up at a show. It was supposed to be like a 15% thing, and they agreed to it or whatever. And then they were like, "Hey, man, the crowd's down a little bit. We're going to bump that to 25." Like, no, motherfucker. Like that's not what we agreed on. So it's like,
it's one thing to agree on a 10 or 15% thing ahead of time, but getting blindsided after the fact for some bullshit reason, that's especially being guys in a band, that's something that's beyond your control. You guys are there to play. You guys have no control over how many people show up or anything else. So,
especially if you're not putting on like a festival that has like 100 bands on it, and then everybody wants to charge the same thing. That's a little different,
Right. Well, a lot of times when you're at those festivals, their workers are the ones working to sell your shit too.
Right. Yeah.
You're you're most of the time bands are bringing like either the ones I've been to anyway. They bring their own people in.
Yeah, they basically have their own employees. Yeah,
so it's not like
and they have their own because they like bring their own business with them. And
right,
exactly.
Band brings their own business with them. Like I was in Las Vegas and saw the whole Sick New World tour last year. That was an awesome experience. That was like so many people. It was like a sea of people watching like Korn and System of a Down and Deftones.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You know, everybody was there. You know, Seven Dust.
Yeah,
that was great, and it wasn't even that bad for pricing and stuff like that. The only thing that was like probably I saw a lot of people getting really weary of the heat, and like they had water stations and stuff like that, but like even that's not enough. You're just getting like room temperature water.
You get hosed.
Hydrated.
Yeah.
You're in a line for at least like 15-20 minutes to try and get like that room temperature water in your freaking water bottle you've been carrying around the whole entire time.
Yeah, that they
freaking like $6 on a can of water because all they had was
liquid death.
Liquid death.
Yeah. I always hate that too.
I don't know why some of these. I mean, of course, we've all heard the horror stories about Blue Ridge. I mean, Jason, you've experienced them firsthand. But I mean, I don't know what it is about some of these events that can't get their logistics together. It just kind of boggles my mind sometimes. But
especially if you've been doing it for years. I mean, you're like, damn, you've been doing this shit 10 years. You still ain't figured it out. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Man, maybe you shouldn't be doing festivals. It's like,
right.
So we'll wrap up here in just a second. I just want to give you guys a chance to put out any of your socials or websites or anything you guys want to promote.
Yeah, plug away.
Yeah, we're on Instagram, Here in the Horror, Facebook, TikTok.
Are you? Oh shit, you guys are on TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh shit, all right. Hey.
Yeah, I think it's Hero in the Horror 6. I think we had one, or maybe that was our old one, but we're on there.
All right. Streaming platforms.
Yeah, all the streaming platforms. HeroInTheHorror.com.
Yeah, I'm actually following you guys on Spotify. So.
Yep.
Okay, so there's Hero in the Horror, just Hero in the Horror.
That might be.
And then there's Hero in the Horror 7.
Might be the old one. I don't know. Phil takes care of all that.
Okay.
He's incapacitated right now.
All right, well, let's see what we got. All right, let's see. I'll stick to, is it that one?
Fine. It's got to be the, actually, what are the videos on it? There recent ones? Yeah, I think that's the one.
That's the one? Okay. Follow. All right.
Just follow the other one too,
All right. Well, that's not a bad idea. Hang on. Let's see what the other one looks like. Hold on.
That one.
There's the other one.
Oh.
And then there are the videos.
That's the newer one.
Okay. Well, shit. Yeah, we'll follow them both.
We're just, we're old, trying to be hip and stuff. So.
Yeah, we did. It took us forever to get.
Yeah,
we actually had TikTok forever. We just never posted anything on it.
Yeah, we had
just finally.
It took us forever to actually get it, and then I finally set it up because my kids are, well, at the time they were late teens. Now they're kind of like all early 20s, and they were like, if you really want to promote this, this show and everything, because we have TikTok, we have TikTok now, but I mean, we had Instagram, we've got a Facebook group and a Facebook page, we've got a YouTube channel, we got Rumble, and we've got Twitch, and all three of my kids, they were like, if you want to really promote this and you got to get a TikTok, and I was like, son of a bitch, really? It's like, God damn it, So I set it up, and then Jason, what was it like? Maybe like 5 or 6 months before I
it was a while
before I actually did anything with it, because I was like, what the hell do I do?
I know. Yeah.
So
then he come up with the Metalhead Minute, so he kind of recaps the shows.
Yeah. So
week before on there. So
yeah. So yeah. On every Wednesday, I do like it's usually 90 seconds to maybe 2 minutes. I call it the Metalhead Minute, and kind of recap the previous week's show and everything. So I mean, it seems to work out pretty well. But man, we kind of fought TikTok kicking and screaming as long as we could.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, don't even talk about it.
So which one is our real TikTok account?
Our TikTok account.
Hero in the Horror or Hero in the Horror 7?
7.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, I followed them both, so I mean, that's fine.
There's another Hero in the Horror.
I think we made an old one.
Because I was already following on Instagram and on Facebook, so we were following there. We like to follow all of our guests everywhere. So I mean, we
I followed you guys on Spotify too. So
awesome, thank you.
Yeah, so I know that helps with the handful of change you'll get.
Yeah, every 700ths of a cent helps. So
yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ,
that should be Spotify's new slogan. Every 700ths of a cent helps.
I was actually hoping maybe musicians would jump on board with what the acting world did with the AI thing, and be like, hey, y'all got to come up with better stuff with these royalties things. But I mean, unfortunately, it's going to take somebody huge like a Metallica or somebody. To like, hey man,
Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
it's gonna. Yeah, not even. It doesn't even have to be anyone in metal. I mean, it's gonna have to be.
Well, I mean, it could be Taylor Swift as far as that goes.
Yeah, it'll have to be.
It's going to have to be somebody. Yeah, it's going to be a big name to come across. But you know what? We're done with your shit.
It's gonna take a seismic shift because I mean,
Jimmy Buffett done it, but I mean, half his fans are dead already. So.
Yeah,
including him.
Yeah,
including him.
Yeah, he's definitely. He's absolutely wasting away in Margaritaville at this point.
So. That means the ways of the world, unfortunately. So.
Well,
Any way to get the smaller guy to get the bigger guys more money. So.
Yeah, everybody just like uses a stepping stone,
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. We appreciate you guys stopping in with us. We don't want to keep. I know it's like 12:30 over there your way. So.
Yeah.
So I know y'all probably used to stand up all night partying all night.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Like I said, we'll post this up to Spotify too, and I'll share that with you guys too, so you can share that around if you need to. So.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Anything else comes up, we'll share it on our socials too. Since we're following you guys, we should be able to see that. So
awesome,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it, man. Phil, Sam, and Dean. Hopefully, we'll do it again sometime when either down this way or have a new release out, and maybe we can get some other members on here and share some of those good stories.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Keep us posted, and like Jason said, we're gonna get the word out there the best we can with all the happenings from Hero in the Horror. So
thank you so much.
Thank you,
appreciate it, guys.
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Take care.
Have a good night.
We'll see you.
All right.
Awesome.
Hero and the Horror, everybody.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Like I said, those guys are out here. You heard them DIY kind of thing. So I mean, you can support those guys in any way. Please go out and do so. Bandcamp, all their socials, website, pick up some merch from them. Whatever you can support these. That's kind of how they make their ends meet to keep recording. So
and like we said at the beginning of the interview, I mean that this album's got something basically for everybody. It really does.
Sure.
Unless you're an extreme metal fan, death metal, black metal,
right.
It doesn't really have. It's not really for you if that's your bread and butter as far as what you listen to predominantly. But I mean, there is a lot of something for everybody. And it's a very, and it's an easy listen. It really is. I mean, like I say, I listened to it quite a few times, and it was enjoyable from start to finish. You know, it's good to have one of those albums where you're like, nah, I don't, just next. You know, you don't, where you don't have one of those songs where you could like, I could do without it, and you just skip it. So those albums don't come along all the time. So I mean, to be able to just put something on, 11 songs, 40 some odd minutes, and just sit back and enjoy it. So I mean, it's a fantastic.
Yeah, there's no intros, outros, instrumentals, or anything like that.
No,
it's all, I mean, it's a loaded album. So
yeah, and there, like I said, there's some melodic stuff there towards the end, but I mean, it's still it's melodic, and it's got some slower tempo stuff, but it doesn't really sacrifice any of the heaviness either. So
no, it doesn't. Yeah,
no, so it's a very well done album, and it does have a diverse sound. I mean, there's just really no other way to put it. Really, that's just the best way to put it. So.
All right, now that we plugged those guys, we can plug ourselves. If you haven't checked out the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week stream, there you can check that out at stream.trulyradio247.com/8006/stream. Check out. There's always actually I'll be uploading some stuff again probably tomorrow. So
yep.
If not, I'll be doing it at work. That's what I did last week. I did it during work. Don't tell them.
They don't need to know that.
All the evidence has been deleted anyway. So
that's right. Boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I upload music to my radio station on company time.
That's right.
What Jeff Bezos doesn't know won't make him any less rich. So.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, you're not costing him any billions by uploading a few songs to a streaming platform. So
no,
yeah.
No, well, I'm still able. What I do, I'm still able to do my job and do that.
Well, of course, yeah.
So it's an easy multitasking job. So.
Yeah, well, that's nice. So, well, since we're only at an hour and a half, even though with the hero and the horror coming on, we didn't do our regular show, we would be remiss as a heavy metal podcast if we didn't at least spend a little bit of time talking about the proverbial RKO out of nowhere. That was the announcement of Slayer coming back.
Fucking Slayer.
Fucking Slayer. I think everyone was kind of like, what the fuck? Because I was like, I honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, that's bullshit. And then I was like, I was, oh shit, it's actually a real thing. It's happening. So
see what I said when I first seen it. I said that fucking Kerry King worked the shit out of us.
Yeah, really.
Kind of tell us all that bullshit.
Yeah, Dave Lombardo's dead to me. Of course, Dave Lombardo's not a part of this, but I mean, but still. So I mean,
so who's drumming on it?
Bostaff.
Bostaff. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Which that makes sense too. I mean,
well, I mean, yeah, he's a former member of Slayer. Gary Holt's taken Jeff Hanneman's place. So I mean,
yeah,
you're still.
Well, I mean, Jeff Hanneman can't be there. So I mean,
right. Well, right, he can't. But I mean, you're still getting Slayer.
Yeah.
It's Slayer.
So while we're talking about this, I want to clear the air on something because when they posted this on Loudwire and Blabbermouth, everybody went to fucking town about comparing it to the Pantera shit, and then everybody started jumping on Pantera again. Let's just clear it for once and for all. Pantera songs, most of the songs from the Pantera that we know and love, were written by Rex and Phil and Dime and Vinny. So that Rex and Vinny have, or Rex and Phil have all the right in the world to sing those fucking songs. I don't give a shit what you think, whether you like it or not, and whatever you think. They have the right to sing those songs. They wrote the fucking songs. They have the right to sing them. So
that's the thing is even if they didn't write the songs, they were in the band when the albums came out. So Phil and Rex.
What I'm saying is they're not doing anything without permission because they don't need permission because they wrote the fucking songs.
But they still did the respectful thing and got the blessing of the Abbott estate. So they didn't do anything underhanded. They didn't go behind anybody's back.
And that's what I think bothers me the most is people will go on and bash that when they're giving money back to that estate. like how big of a piece of shit fan are you to be against them giving money back to Phil and Dimes or Vinny and Dimes estate? I mean,
right.
I mean that's kind of low key, bullshit. But
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand it, but I mean,
just be happy. I'd be just happy a new generation of people get to hear the music. So
exactly. Well, I mean,
that's what we should be celebrating that.
Well, and I mean that's kind of, and that's part of how they've been advertising this for the legacy, for the fans.
Yeah. Well, see, I think this is like I think people are reading too much into the Slayer thing. Like it's not going to be a reunion tour or anything like that. They're going to do a few festival days, and then Tom's going to go back right out in California with his family again because
that's fine.
He don't want to be on the road 200 days for tour dates. I mean,
no, and that's fine.
And I don't blame him. He did 40 years of that. So I mean,
right, yeah, And I kind of
let the man live his life. Like shit.
Yeah, and I've always had the feeling, even after they retired, all they did was retire from touring. That's all they did. All they did was retire from touring. I always kind of had the sneaking suspicion that at some point they would do something like this. All right, we'll come to this festival. We'll come to that festival. And I would almost right now guarantee this is right now we're live, so this is going to end up on the internet. It'll be there fucking forever. I would be willing to bet this will not be the only 2 festivals they play.
Well, no, they're doing DWP stuff. I mean, he does 6 festivals, so I'm sure.
Yeah, so I mean, so they'll do Riot Fest, they'll do Louder Than Life. Even if that's the only 2 they do this year, they might do Sonic Temple next year. They might do the Milwaukee Metal Fest. I don't know. Pick one. Pick a couple. They may do a couple every year, and they're entitled to do that. They never said we're done making music forever and ever and ever. I've busted Sully Erna's balls a couple of times because he said, "Now we're Godsmack, we're done. We're done. We're done making music. We're still going to tour, but we're done making music." And then a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, he's like, never say never to new Godsmack. So you can never say never to anything.
Well, I think he was saying they're not going to put out full length albums anymore, which which is cool because I mean you're in an age where plus Godsmack's got so many hits. I mean, why would you want to put out 10 more songs and then pick 2 to go play live? Just put out the 2 songs you're going to play live and add it to your arsenal and be done with it.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone wants to hang on but you said, I mean. Sure, and at the everyone
and those people are on their 3rd marriage, so
right, yeah, and
you said it twice, so
right, everybody gave Motley Crue shit. It's like, well, they signed a contract that they would never tour again. They're only, that's where that saying comes from. There are only 2 things guaranteed in this world: death and taxes, and that's it. So I mean, you can say all you want, I'm never doing X, Y, or Z again, but who's to say 10 years down the line, because like Jason, you even talked about, you get the itch every now and then to wrestle.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's like, like I said, my situation, and I've told this to when I went to that show last week, I watched one of my buddies retire, and and from the business, and I told them in the ring when I was seeing some other people that I've worked with along the way, and they're like, "Oh, hey man, you ever thought about getting back?" I said, "Dude, if the money's right and the opponent's right, I'll probably do it." You know what I mean? It's not like I can't do it. It's like I don't want to anymore because my body was in a state to where I had to rest it. I mean, if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be able to walk right now. But but it's like you have to. The thing is, when you're doing sports and stuff like that, you need to listen to your body. When your body says, "Hey," football players the same way. When your body says you're done, then you need to just say, "Hey, I'm done," because you've already made your money anyway. So who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, hell, I do the same thing. Like when I go out to my shed to get my lawnmower, my hockey shit's out there. I'm 45 years old. In my head, I could play right now, and I look at my gear. I'm like, I don't think we're done yet. I don't feel like I'm done. Yeah. But then I get up one day and you know what my back is like. So I mean, there are days where I feel every bit of 45, but in my head, I'm like, I can still play. I know I can still play. Will I play again? I don't know. I hope so at some point. I hope I can get out and kind of, skate around with the guys at some point, but you can never say never to anything. And then even I was reading a story a couple of days ago, earlier this week, obviously after everything came out, because it's been the headline on every outlet, rightfully so. It may have been Kerry King's wife. It may have been Tom Araya's wife. I don't know. I don't remember. But one of the wives was like, they never said they were going to tour again. It's just a couple of shows.
Right.
And then they were like, if you don't like it, just don't go.
Right.
If you're against it, fine. Don't buy a ticket. Don't go. I mean, it's just as simple as that. If don't let it ruin your life. If you don't want to go, don't go. It's only they're going to be in Chicago. They're going to be in Louisville.
That was Gary. I think it was Gary's wife that actually said that stuff.
It may have been. It may have been. It may have been. But I mean, whoever's wife it was, they were right. Same thing with the Pantera thing. If you think it's a money grab, fine, don't go. If you don't want to, you don't have to be involved at all.
Well, I think you got to really get Gary's in Exodus as well. So he's not going to give up. I mean, they're recording this shit. So I mean, he's not going to walk away from that and start touring with Slayer again.
No. Yeah, I mean he's I'm sure that when
then Kerry King's doing his own thing now. I mean, it's not people are reading too much into it.
Yeah, no, it's Slayer's going to show up for a couple of festivals.
Yeah, go out and see it because you may not. I mean, who knows if you'll get to do it again?
Right?
So, I mean,
yeah, go to Chicago, go to Louisville. That's where there's Slayer's going to be in those two cities this year.
Well, I'm gonna do my best to be in Louisville. So
but I just don't get why it's such the end of the world that Slayer's playing again. That Phil and Rex.
It's not. I think it's a great thing. I mean,
it is. There's really no downside. What is the downside?
You're getting to hear the music that you love live again. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
that's horrible.
Yeah, the humanity of it all,
right?
So, I mean, it's just, it just.
I always hate the money grab thing. Like they don't need the money, dude. Like it's not a money grab. Let's look at the 4 people in Pantera. Like none of those 4 people need fucking money. Mm-hmm. They're doing it because they want to do it and they enjoy playing the shit. I mean, yes, are they getting paid? Well, of course they're getting paid. It's their job. I mean, but that's not a money grab because I mean, Charlie Benante's in Anthrax, so he's not going. He's not going anywhere. Zach Wild's White Label Society. I mean,
he's got plenty.
That's their shit. I mean, they're not going to go. And even Zach said if they did new Pantera music, it won't be called Pantera anymore.
Right. I saw that story today.
He won't do it if it's called Pantera.
No. No.
Never worry about it.
Yeah. No. Well, and see, that's the thing is, I mean, when the tour, when Pantera getting back together was announced, not long after that was announced, that was like, well, are they going to make new music? Right. And people were like, and we even talked about it. I remember we even talked about it, and we were like, well, if they want to make new music, they got to take the name off of it.
Right.
There's no way, so that kind of, and I think the story was just somebody asking Zach what he thought about it. And Zach was like, I'm down, but it can't be Pantera because it's not Pantera because that's not what it is, so I'm never going to be against brand new metal coming out, but I mean, Phil's got enough projects going on himself. He could just.
Oh, I mean, that's another thing. I was like, Down's writing new music. So I mean, it's like,
yeah. So I mean,
like, they're not going to do new Pantera stuff. I mean, if they do, it's not going to be anytime soon. That's for sure.
Right, and it won't be, oh, here's the brand new studio from Pantera. It won't happen. There's no way it'll happen. Yeah. There's no way.
I don't think Vince and Penny and Dimes Estate would allow that anyway.
And
that might be a little too far.
Well, and that's the thing is I because like we said, I mean, Phil and Rex got permission from the estate to play the songs when they didn't have to. They've been respectful about this thing the entire way. I have no reason to believe that they would
try to make new music under the
all of a sudden
Pantera,
do a 180, right? Do a 180 and try to torpedo the whole thing. Because I mean, I don't care what the naysayers have said. This whole thing has been an overwhelming success, and I don't think they're not gonna want to do anything to tarnish what they've done with this whole thing. And Zach and Charlie are gonna be like, no, Zach especially. Zach, there's no way in hell Zach would disrespect Vinny and Dime. There's no way in hell they would do that.
I mean, you talk about these naysayers. If you look at these naysayers, I guarantee you they're bitching about something all the fucking time anyway. So, if you look at their profile, they're probably bitching about, something every day.
Yeah.
Not only that, they're just,
Yeah, just the lifelong contrarian of anything positive, know. So I mean, but yes, I mean, it was definitely it of course would have been our lead story had this been any
right.
Any regular scheduled program. So I felt like we definitely needed to address it, and talk about it. So, because it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people, Louder Than Life. And I'm not really super duper familiar with Riot Fest, to be completely honest with you, but we all know about Louder Than Life.
Mm-hmm.
That Saturday. Wait, are they on set? Yeah,
they're Friday. They're Friday.
Are they Friday?
Yeah.
That, to use a wrestling parlance, that pop that Slayer is going to get is going to be unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when the lights go out to start that set, and whatever song they open with, which, I mean, there are so many Slayer songs they could open with, but I mean, if those lights go out and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they're going to open, but I mean, if the lights go out and there's a curtain and then there's not red lights that come up and you don't hear.
Oh yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. I mean, it's going to be an outdoor venue, but they'll blow the roof off of an outdoor venue if Slayer just comes out to that bum bum bum. That's all you need. And that place is going to go. That place is going to go absolutely bonkers. Yeah, don't be anywhere near the front because you will die. Because that mosh pit is going to be out of this world. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. I actually am going to try to get there to see that, but we'll kind of see what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Got to get them before they get expensive because they go in tiers. So
yeah,
I imagine that Friday night show already starting to get some momentum.
Probably. Well, and that's the funny.
I mean, the whole lineup is great. Hell, Till Lindeman's there that night too. So.
I was about to say. It's not just Slayer. I mean, Slayer's the headliner. I mean, and for good reason. But I mean, it's not just hey, show up to watch Slayer. I mean, there's still a lot of good music to be seen. That whole festival is a pretty good lineup. It is.
I was looking at it. I was like, oh man, I'd like to go to this day too, but
yeah. And that's the funny thing is, I mean, it is a Friday, and Louisville is only 3.5 hours from here.
Yeah,
so it's not far. It's not far, and it's in what is it? Towards the end of September. So I mean,
it's usually the last week.
So it shouldn't be super duper hot.
No, it usually is. I think we had rain there one time when I was there, but it was not hot at all. I mean, I think I was there a couple of days in shorts, and then the rain front came through, and then the last 2 days were kind of cooler. So you was in long pants.
It won't be one of those, middle of the summer, sauna,
heat stroke,
so
drinking hot hose pipe water is what he said earlier.
Yeah, exactly what he was talking about. Yeah, so yeah,
or if you had if you were at Blue Ridge, no water at all.
No, yeah, exactly. You'd be better off trying to drink your own piss. But Awful. But so yeah, I mean, it'll be a hell of a show. It really will.
All right. Well, I will round back away to the merch store. I didn't get to talk about that. So if you want to pick up any merch for now, it's at www.metalheadsuniteusa.com. It'll probably still be at that, but it'll probably be a website at that point. But
right,
and then it'll be a merch store within that. So
yeah,
hopefully we get everything going.
Yeah, so metalheadsuniteusa.com probably isn't going away. It'll be basically
no. It'll be more. It'll be more to it than
it'll be kind of like it'll be kind of like a revamp. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be a grand reopening at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. I probably sometime after my vacation, I'll be getting in touch with the people about all that stuff. So.
Yep. Yeah. So
so mid March, I should know something.
Yeah. So now we didn't get time to touch base before the show, but I did start listening to an album.
Oh yeah, I did too.
So I figure what we can do is we can do what we normally do. Well, what we try to normally do when we have a guest is do our album reviews in write up. So I figure we would go ahead and do that. So after we sign off here, you and I can touch base on what albums.
Yeah.
That way we don't have any crossover. So, but what we can do, if you want, real quick before we head out for the week, we can talk about the albums coming up for March 1st.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So over at heavymusichq.com, as always, looking forward to next Friday. The next Friday is March 1st. So spring is right around the corner, folks. So leading off with Alienist with Love Hate. That is an EP. We have Ang Madness with Rot of the Soul, Azel with Death Control, Bean Curver with De Road Veduve, I don't know, Beyrevra with Echoes, Vanished Lore of Fire. We have Big Train with The Likes of Us, Blazar with Fatal Cosmic Wound, Blind Channel with Exit Emotions, Bruce Dickinson with The Mandrake Project. Yes, that Bruce Dickinson. Clarion Void with Failure in Repetition, Clouds Taste Satanic with 79 AE, Cryptic Confinement with Tempestuous Demise, Crying Steel with Live and Thunder, Kulak with Underneath the Veil of God, Defocus with There Is a Place for Me on Earth, Devastator with Conjurers of Cruelty, Des Dare with A Billion Goats, A Billion Sparks, Finn, Drained Down with Toxic Society, Enslaved with Heimdall, Deluxe Edition. We have Etoile Filante with Mare Tranquil. Let's see. Okay, hang on. Tranquillitatis. Fall of Leviathan with In Waves. Fathomless Ritual with Hymns for the Lesser Gods. Firewind with Stand United. Gab de la Vega with Life Burns. Hammock with Look How Long Lasting Everything Is, Moving Forward for Once. God damn.
That's one of them Def Leppard.
Yeah, it sure as hell is. Then we have Hands of Goro with a self-titled album. Lesbian Deathbed with Midnight Lust. We have Lila Veneta with Primordial Movements. Liv Christine with Deus Ex Machina. That's a re-release. Lunar Spells with Sacraments of the Necromantical Empires. We have Mon Tomu with Elosa Ene Pimea Velon Nan. I have no idea if I even got close to saying that right.
I wonder if the parentheses is what it means. This is not a dog.
It probably does, but I have no idea. Marble Ghost with a self-titled EP, Mephisto with Carpathian Tales, Messiah with Christus Hypercubus, Metro Society with the London Conspiracy, Chapter 1, 1898, Ministry with Hopium for the Masses, Modern Stars with Termination, Negative Prayer with Self Wound, Northern Genocide with The Point of No Return, Paraline with Sound Weapon, Profane Burial with My Plateau, Rick Emmett with Diamonds, the Best of the Hard Rock Years, 1990 to 1995. We have Saturnalia Temple with Revel and Dissidence, Sentry with a self-titled album, Sheer Mag with Playing Favorites, Silver Roller with At Dawn, that's an EP, A Somber Funeral with Summertime Sorrow, Stagnant Waters with Rifts, Suicide Angels with Profane Prayer, Sol Dusk with Antithesis, Surgical Strike with 24/7 Hate. We have Svart Lotus with Sam et Vant R. We have Tachanka with Blossoms, Tigers on Opium with Psychodrama. We have Traum with a self-titled album. We have TSOL with A-Side Graffiti. Various artists with New Wave Donut. I don't know what the hell that's all about. Volcandra with The Way of Ancients. Vorus with Desolate Eternities. Warfield within with Pure Purge. That's an EP. We have Waste a Saint with Ravenous. We Follow the Earth with Extinct. Wolf Pact with Alpha Wolf. That's an EP. Worst Doubt with Immortal Pain. That's an EP. And Zach Sabbath with Doomed Forever, Forever Doomed. So,
all right, then.
Yeah. So there's a couple albums with some big names. Zach Sabbath, that is Zach Wild's side project. We have let's see, you got Firewind and you got Bruce Dickinson, Ministry with. Well, speaking of Ministry, this is their next to last album. Al Jorgensen has said there will be one more studio album before Ministry calls it quits. So, you know,
I mean, they've been at it. Like I said, these bands have been at it for a while. So
long time.
You know, if you're not a Metallica, and there's no sense in, you know, working until you're 70 or something. I mean, they don't have to either, so I don't know why they do, but you know,
right. Well, and I'm sure Al Jorgensen is just, you know, of course, you know, Ministry doesn't have to end. He's just said that, you know, that's
right.
You know, kind of the same thing. It's like, you know, all right, we're done, you know, making albums. I mean, we've got plenty of stuff that we can, you know, tour on. So kind of the same thing as, you know, maybe Godsmack, you know, we have enough of a catalog. We'll just kind of, you know, live off of that. So
damn, March 8th is fucking loaded, dude.
What do we got on March 8th? Let's see.
Oh man, there's Exporter, Judas Priest.
Oh my God.
Kill the Lights.
Oh, I am so looking forward to that Exhorter. Oh, it's going to be so good. Judas Priest, Invincible Shield.
Skeletal Remains.
Yeah, kill the Lights.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. There's a you know, 4 or 5.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yes. Yeah, Skeletal Remains, Sonata Arctica. Man. Oof.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big week there. So.
Yeah, well, the End Machine? Oh shit, okay.
Before the Dawn, I forgot about those guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's pretty big week there.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Priest album too, man.
Man, it's gonna be so
good. That last song was like, oh my God.
Yep. March is shaping up to be a pretty big month. Of course, I mean we still have a lot to look forward to the rest of the year too, not just in March. So,
well, yeah.
2024 is literally just getting started as far as albums coming out.
Yeah, people's already talking about stuff that's, you know, they're already planning 2025. So,
yeah.
Which, I mean, I think at this point, you know, from the stories we've heard, you almost have to make sure you get studio time and be able to tour. And like, there's, you know, people are already talking about tours in 2025 because they're having they're having to book, you know, travel and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's so hard to get travel. I mean,
you know,
when you got bands like Anthrax and Iron Maiden and they can't get their stuff to the venues, and that's a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. But yeah, I mean, we've got talking about 2025. I mean, just right off the top of my head, you know, we got Halloween and Amorphous.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know, there's still going to be no shortage of quality music coming out next year. Far from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So again, I want to thank you guys for stopping in. Hope you enjoyed the interview. We'll keep you posted if we hear anything back in the other lines that we have out. We'll probably be throwing some more lines out in the water after listening to the albums this weekend. We'll see. We're always working to try to get bands in there. Like I said, that's kind of what we're here for, is to try to push bands. So, I know we enjoy doing the news and stuff every week, but you know, if it was up to me and we could push a band every week, you know, 52 bands. Yeah. If we could push 52 bands a year, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, even if we're just getting to talk for like 60 to 80 minutes. I mean, you know, if you guys have been following the show long enough, we have had some 3+ hour interviews before, but I mean, you know,
you're talking about bands that's had, you know, 6 to 8 releases too. I mean,
but I mean, you know,
you can't get that much out of out of a band that's a debut album,
or just starting out,
2 albums in, or
Yeah, but I mean, it's like we tell bands before. I mean, we don't have a minimum time, we don't have a maximum time. I mean, if we always tell them, if you guys got to go, just it's fine, no big deal. So I mean, we got to talk to a new band. And like we say, as far as we're concerned, they're friends of the show now. So I mean, we made our introductions, they made theirs. We got to talk to them for a good hour and a half. That's a great jumping off point as far as I'm concerned. So I mean, that we're going to follow them moving forward. And based on the first album, I have no reason to believe that they won't be putting out more. And I'm confident that we'll speak to them again. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, I will put this on Spotify this weekend. Of course, I will cut it down some, but so just try to get the interview only on there. But we'll get that on there. We'll get that on there though.
Sure.
But and then you can also find us just about everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram,
TikTok,
Rumble.
Yep.
Actually, seen a lot of people posting this Threads thing now, so I was like, I'm gonna check that out too, see what that's all about. But,
it couldn't hurt. Yeah, I actually for the first time, I actually put the Metalhead Minute on Rumble. I hadn't been doing it, and I said, screw it. I said, screw it. I'll just throw it up there. Why not? I mean, definitely another avenue for any and all content. I figured, what could it hurt? It was only 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Right. Why not? I mean, people's more likely to click that and listen to that than they would our 3-hour rambling. So
yeah. Amy, Rumble is kind of like YouTube.
Right.
It's actually a little more like Twitch. But
so really, Rumble was made by conservatives because YouTube was like not approving their stuff to be loaded, so they created that to have an equal platform. So as far as I know, Rumble's never put anybody out and says no, you can't post that. So I haven't seen it. So.
No, and they haven't done anything with any of our stuff.
Well, I mean, nobody's done anything with any of our stuff because we're just it's just music, so it's not like
but I mean, we haven't gotten any shit,
Well, because it's not political. If it was political, we'd be getting shit all the time.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but we don't give a shit about that. So
but Amy,
we all know we're fucked either way. So
but Amy, I mean, if you want to follow us over there too, I mean,
that's actually where our biggest majority of our audience is. So.
But so I mean, same thumbnail as everything else. So I mean, you just go ahead and go on. It's rumble.com. It's simple. So, easy to find. It's basically just another streaming platform is all it is.
Yeah, just another avenue.
Just another avenue for eyes.
Yeah. And then I'll probably have to post this on there because it had been. I guess they gotten into it with YouTube, so YouTube ain't working with them anymore. So
that's all right.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
it's more work for me, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we appreciate you guys stopping by. Like I said, go check us out at all those places, and if you want to listen to the radio station, it's always there. And then so the merch store is there. Looking for bigger news coming from that. Hopefully by the end of next month.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. No theme of the week playlist this week, but all of our other playlists are available on Spotify right now.
All right. Well, hopefully we will see you guys back here next week. Until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, you guys. Thank you.